more and more I do these videos, the more and more I realize we can't like nobody. Ain't a goddamn person out there we can like.
Go watch his videos. He had Stitches Turned Off. He has produced a great series there, highlighting just some of the crappy things that Hollywood stars have done. And a lot of people are surprised by finding out that particular video is about Justin Long and something he did. I'm not going to spoil it for you. I really want you to go watch his series. He does a great job with those. And I think that a lot of people have a disconnect when it comes to people in Hollywood, the characters they play, and who they really are. And I did a video a while back talking about how I'll use Jennifer Lawrence, for example. I think I did in that video too. I don't like Jennifer Lawrence. I really don't. I don't like her attitude in interviews she's been in. I don't like the way she acts. I love her character from Silver Linings Playbook. I love that character. But as I described in that video, or as I explained, that character is like a bunch of writers that made that character, and she's acting what the writers put out. Now, I know some people already know that, and they're going to be like, yeah, no, duh, everybody knows that, whatever. But some people don't. They don't get that. I see women do that. They're like, oh, I love this character. I love this actor. And it's like, but do you really? Do you like the actor, or do you like the 4 or 5 parts they play? Right? You like the person they're written to be. Like, I could be completely different if I had a team of writers, dictating everything I said, every way I moved. And I even wanted to try that. I don't know how you would do that without being a Hollywood star, but I would love to experience that. For me, if I was ever to do acting, not that I am an actor, but if I was ever to do acting, that's the part that I want to experience, is I would want to play that character to the best of my ability, which I don't even know what that is at this point. And I would want to see what I look like on screen, because it would look like me, but it would not be me. Even here, you're getting a version of me. You're getting a highly politicized, highly opinionated version of me. And I guess people close to me would say that is me, but there's a little more. Whenever we do these videos, we're putting something of ourselves out there. So back to the point of what he's talked about in the series is, I would go out to venture to say that I think that maybe 1% of all of the celebrities, that's everybody from your A-listers down to your just starting in, 1% of that entire group, because really the group of people that work in Hollywood is not a large number compared to the population. It's very small. But 1% of the people that are in Hollywood, just the actors, we're not going to include directors, production people, none of that, just the actors. I would say it's a safe bet to assume that 99% of them have or have had done something, if that's right. Now, that doesn't mean it's all something that's, physical against somebody in a very personal way. Some of it's probably drugs. Well, I think a lot of it's going to be drugs or a mix thereof. You also have to take into account that when it comes to Hollywoodland, there's kind of this special status, right? It's a private club. All of us are not invited. The only reason we're seeing things now and things are coming up now is because there are people either trying to cash in on recordings they have. There was an earlier video that this guy had put up with talking about Chris Rock. Chris Rock, there's an audio recording out there of him doing something really, really nefarious. I mean, really bad. And it's just awful. You also have to take into account that some of these stars have done things before recording was a thing, where it's just hearsay and it's been covered up by PR teams. Other people that are bringing this forward are maybe brave enough to say something now. Evan Rachel Wood, it took a lot for her to expose what was happening. A lot of people don't want to believe it, but they say that it was a different time in the 90s. It was a different time here, a different time there. But is it really a different time, or is it just the fact that we're seeing it all now? The internet has been great for that it has shined a light on so many things that were hidden at one point. But I have a fear of meeting stars beyond a surface level. I don't think I could ever be friends with anybody famous. And I know it sounds presumptuous because it's like I'm a nobody, and I get that, but follow me here. I don't think it could be, because at some point, the horrible shit they've done is going to come up. It's going to become something that you're going to bear that secret for. And I don't know about any of you, but I don't care how famous the person is. I can't keep those secrets for them. I can't. And so it's better if I just meet those people at like Comic Cons or something and say my hellos and, smile and be happy to have met them as they are there. But in reality, again, when my brain works, I'm not going to the Comic Con to see that person. So I'm going to see that character. That's the hard part, right? And I know a lot of actors hate that. They don't want to be that character. They want you to meet them for them, but that's not what we're seeing. We're not seeing those characters or those people on screen. We're seeing the characters they're portraying. And that can be very hard. I've seen Comic Cons. I haven't been myself, but I've seen clips where some voice actors get really upset when people just want to hear the voice, or when people only want to talk about the shows they've been in. And that shows you something very particular about people, especially people of fame. There's always going to be that part where famous people think they're above the commoner. And that is and is not their fault. I'm not excusing anyone's behavior, but if you've gotten away with things over and over again, you're going to expect you're going to keep getting away with them until you don't. And they're going to be very upset when the populace as a whole doesn't like you anymore. And that has been a very hard thing for people to deal with. Look at Kevin Spacey. He was acquitted, but people are still very upset. Now, however you feel about that, the fact remains there was still an accusation. Something still happened. And just because he was acquitted doesn't necessarily wipe everything clean. Even if he was innocent, let's say he was completely innocent, and people still don't like it, there is still the court of public opinion to deal with. And if that's damaged too much, there's not really any coming back from that. And that is kind of the hefty balance that fame relies on. You can be top in the spotlight, but you can fall off that ledge really quickly. And I'm not making excuses for anybody famous. I think we need to know what these people are doing, especially if they're portraying roles. With Justin Long, to give you a little insight there, this video talks about something horrible he did. Go watch the movie Barbarian to see the character he plays. Go watch that movie and see what image he's pushing, and then maybe wait to watch this guy's video until you see Justin Long and Barbarian, and then go watch that video that he's done. So, but movie stars are in a different place. It's its own community. This is why most famous people don't date non-famous people. They can't. Most of us have would have an ethical dilemma. Our sense of right and wrong does not fit in that world, because they will do things to benefit themselves because that's the world they're in. Not that all of them are horrible. Again, I'm saying about 1% are probably perfectly fine. But that other 99% have been in a world where if you want to get anywhere, you have to do some things you're probably not going to be proud of, or you're going to be pressured into situations that you're not going to want to do, be it drugs or be it situations where you don't want to be there. And that's really bad. But I think that can be fixed to a degree. I don't think permanently. I think Hollywood is going to be Hollywood. And this has been going on since the beginning of Hollywood. It's just the terms have changed. And again, things are more public. And I'm not making excuses. We should know. And they should be held accountable for those things. Anyway, what are your thoughts on that situation? What do you think about famous people? What do you think should be done? Or do you think that it is its own special world and that's absolutely fine? And what camp do you reside in?